Imagine waking up one morning feeling completely empty. No motivation, no joy. You just don't want to do anything. Now imagine that's happening, not in 2024, but 70,000 years ago. No therapist, no medication, no Instagram reel telling you to just go for a walk. Here's the wild part. Depression isn't a modern invention. It's not caused by your phone, your boss, or your Wi-Fi cutting out at the worst possible time. Depression is ancient, like older than civilization ancient. And the story of where it came from, and why your brain still runs this program today, is one of the most fascinating things in all of human history. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a bad day the same way again. First, let's establish something important. For most of human history, we're talking hundreds of thousands of years. Life was basically one long survival challenge. You woke up, you found food, you tried not to get eaten, you went to sleep, repeat. There was no concept of career burnout. The closest thing to a midlife crisis was just still being alive at 35. But here's where it gets interesting. Scientists studying ancient human remains, early cave societies, and even our closest animal relatives, chimpanzees, have found clear evidence that what we now call depression existed long, long before language, before cities, before writing. So what was depression doing back then? Why did it exist? That's question number one. And the answer flips everything you think you know about mental health. Here's the leading theory from evolutionary psychologists, and it's kind of brilliant. Depression, in its original ancient form, was a feature, not a bug. Think about it this way. Your ancient ancestor is out hunting. Things go wrong. A rival group moves in on your territory. Half the tribe gets sick. Your resources dry up. Life is losing. What does a depressed brain do? It slows everything down. It makes you withdraw. Stop. Conserve energy. Ruminate, which is just a fancy word for obsessively thinking about a problem. And in the wild, that's actually useful. If things are bad, sitting still and thinking hard about what went wrong could literally save your life. Depression was the brain's emergency brake. The low energy? Conserving calories when food is scarce. The social withdrawal? Avoiding conflict when you're weak. The rumination? Problem solving on overdrive. This is called the analytical rumination hypothesis, the idea that depression evolved as a focused thinking mode for life's hardest problems. Depression existed because it helped ancient humans survive really bad situations. But hold on, if depression was so useful, why does it feel so destructive today? This is where it gets really interesting, and a little uncomfortable. Our brains haven't meaningfully changed since the Stone Age. The hardware running inside your skull right now was designed for a world of immediate, physical, solvable problems. Predators, hunger, shelter, tribe conflict. But the software is now running on a completely different world. Mortgage payments, social media metrics, global news cycles, Zoom calls where nobody turns their camera on. The ancient stop and think response, useful when the problem was that cave lion keeps coming back, now fires off when your problem is eye haven. You replied to 47 emails, and the issue? Emails don't get solved by withdrawal and low energy. They just pile up. This is called the evolutionary mismatch. Your ancient survival tool is running in an environment it was never built for, and it gets worse. Ancient humans had something modern humans have lost: constant physical movement, tight social bonds, sleeping when it was dark, eating whole foods, and spending most of their time in nature. We now have evidence that all of those things, exercise, community, sleep, diet, sunlight, are directly tied to mood regulation. Ancient humans did all of them automatically, just by existing. We have to consciously try to do them, which is exhausting, which ironically makes some of us more depressed. That's the cruel irony of the modern brain in the modern world. So how did ancient humans handle it when depression hit hard and didn't leave? Well, and this might surprise you, they didn't handle it alone. Archaeological evidence shows that early human communities cared for their sick and mentally struggling members. We've found skeletal remains of individuals who clearly had serious physical disabilities, and yet survived for decades, which means their tribe fed them, protected them, and looked after them. There's also evidence of ritual. Early humans buried their dead with flowers, with tools, with care. That's grief. That's ceremony. That's a community processing loss together, which is literally one of the most effective tools we have for depression today. Shamans in ancient societies often held the role of what we'd now call a community therapist. Someone you go to when the weight gets too heavy to carry alone. The ancient toolkit for depression? Movement, community, ritual, meaning. Spending time in nature. All the things modern research now confirms are the most powerful non-pharmaceutical treatments for depression. They didn't have a name for it. They didn't have a diagnosis. But they had something we sometimes forget to use: each other. So back to that question I opened with, why does your brain still run this ancient program? Because evolution moves incredibly slowly. The brain that helped your ancestors survive ice ages, droughts, and tribal warfare is still in your head, doing its best in a world that looks nothing like what it was built for. Depression isn't a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's a very old, very well-intentioned system that sometimes fires at the wrong time, in the wrong world, for the wrong threats. And the crazy thing? The best cures we have today, therapy, community, exercise, sleep, sunlight, meaning, are almost identical to the conditions ancient humans lived in by default. In a way, treating depression is just trying to give your Stone Age brain the Stone Age environment it keeps asking for.